Feelings of social isolation have been on the rise for a while now. Researchers are calling it the loneliness epidemic, and we're calling it quits. But first, we need to know how. My next guest says there's 4 basic connection needs we all need met before we can bridge those gaps between us. And reality check, we might unknowingly be part of the problem. Studio 5 relationship contributor Dr. Matt Townsend is here to make sure we're not falling short with his human connection quiz. Here's the thing: you are always bringing fantastic, solid, value-based truths to this space, to this conversation, and I previewed these questions. These are good.
How'd you do?
Well, I didn't grade myself or anything, but I will say a few of these caught me off guard. I do that, and I didn't realize I did that.
Nobody does, really, because we kind of just have slid into a lot of these behaviors.
Yeah.
But then what it does, the people around us they're isolated, they're lonely, and they're lonely with you. They're actually talking to you. You're trying to get them to talk, but they won't open up. And some of the reason they won't open up is because you don't make it easy for some of these needs to be met.
It was kind of a vulnerable exercise for me. They're good. They're good
powerful.
questions.
Powerful.
All right, so the 4 basic connections are?
We got to know we're lovable, capable, we belong, and we're safe.
Okay, let's start with the I see you questions.
So this is the I see you question. So people need to know that you see them and that in seeing them that they're safe. So here are the questions. Do people around you feel safe enough to share their feelings and ideas openly? Do you have a history of shutting conversations down with the my way or the highway position? Do others around you seem free to say what's on their mind, or do you kind of beat them down? And has anyone told you that you're impossible to talk to? If you didn't do so well in those 4 questions, then the people around you may not feel like that you actually see them, that you actually are, that it's safe enough around you, and that you notice them, you care about them, that they're there.
I can see this applying to, all relationships, but my mind went to that parent-teen connection, which I know a lot of parents struggle and wrestle with. I can see safety being an issue there.
Well, and remember, sometimes they don't feel safe because they don't know how to communicate.
Yeah.
But what that should mean is that you should be way better at it. But a lot of times when we actually do get a moment where they're open, they'll say something we don't like, and then we immediately try to shut it down. If you're trying to control the conversation and dominate the other, it might drive them further out on the limb. It's like the cat that we keep trying to get out of the tree, and every time we chase it, it goes further out on the limb. These questions are supposed to open up some of the safety so they quit running to the end of the branch.
The next category, I hear you questions.
I hear you questions. Listen to these. Do the people you struggle with feel like you have spent the time and the energy getting to know their emotions? Have you invested in their energy? Do you dismiss their ideas as weak? Do you feel like you have truly heard their entire point of view? And do your conversations revolve around the other's needs to improve?
That's a biggie right there.
Every time we talk, is it about me needing to be fixed? This is about the capability question. Do the people around you feel like you're always questioning their capability? And then are you open enough to let them share their voice? Do you want to hear what they're saying? Because people need to know that you hear them. And once we can get them sharing their voice, so a lot of people that won't share their voice and share their ideas, it may be because they've been shut down, or it may be because they don't think their ideas are good because no one seems to ever care about them.
I can see this playing out, most obviously in a marriage, right? In a partnership. I can also see this playing out in the workplace.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's
right?
Empowerment. That's empowering a person, right?
Yeah.
And how many times have you been to a meeting where they said everyone needed to be there, but nobody cared what you were saying, and nobody was quiet enough to let you share your point of view? So if you are in a meeting, or if you're in a space, wouldn't it be really neat if we always turn to the one that's not saying anything and say, hey, we haven't heard from you yet. Let us know what you're feeling on this issue.
Is it Adam Grant? There's a Instagrammer that's capturing a lot of attention for the way he says things, and he reminds me a lot of you in terms of messaging. He's so handsome.
Now I get it.
And you have more hair too, by the way.
Thank you.
Based on his profile picture. But he said something recently, and I wish I had the quote verbatim, but just we need to pay more attention to the quiet person in the room. It's not that they don't have something to say. They have something to say.
That's right.
And oftentimes it's very smart and observant because they do spend the time sitting back.
And they might be more introverted. They might be more high sensitive.
Yeah.
They also might really value what they say. A lot of people don't value what they say. They just say it all the time. They're always saying something. But they might want to hold it back and only share it with people that seem to value it.
I love that. All right, next category, I feel you questions.
People need to know that you feel them, you're with them, right? They need to know they're lovable. Listen to these. Do you do a good job of acknowledging the people around you consistently when you are with them? Do you pay enough attention to others to notice when their mood has changed and that you show you care? Do you reflect positively on the good things others are doing around you? And do others feel like their feelings matter to you? Are you somebody that's tuned into the emotion is what this is all about?
Yeah.
Are you noticing feeling? Do you care about feeling? Do you use feelings of others as a cue to dive a little bit deeper? Because think of how powerful that is. You know you're loved when somebody sees you're sad and they bring it up. You seem down. What's going on? That little subtle, quiet thing, when you haven't even said you're sad, but they're picking it up, that is powerful to another human being.
Yeah.
We trust people that get our feelings.
I think women have this superpower
Yeah,
built into
I do
them
too.
a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I felt pretty
It's
confident
scary.
about that category.
Yeah,
I
you
felt,
crushed that
I
one.
felt good about that one, but I'll lead into the next by saying this next category got to me a little bit.
Did it? This
Yeah.
is belonging, right? So this is the one where I'm going to tell you I'm with you. I'm on your team. I'm part of your team. I'm not against you. I'm with you. Listen to these. Do the people around you hear 5 positives to every negative thing you say? Do you bombard them with examples of where you are different? If an outsider stepped in, does it look like you and the other person are enemies or friends? And have others around you complained you're on your phone too much? People want to know that they fit in, that they have a tribe, that they belong. And think about what we tell everybody when we'd rather answer the phone and look at the phone than just be with the people in the car.
Yeah.
And we don't mean to do any of this. These questions are really designed to get you to think and to ask yourself, am I there for my people? Do I see them? Do I hear? Do I feel them? And am I with them? And do the people around you, so everybody out there in listener land just needs to ask themselves, who's somebody I'm struggling with? And then go through these questions and go through these ideas. Does that person I'm struggling with feel like I see them? Do they feel like I hear them? Do they feel like I feel what they feel? And do they feel like I'm with them? Because if they don't, we need to go course correct if the person matters. If the person doesn't matter, I guess you don't need to do that. But I would still get really good at doing it for everyone we can do it for, because that would lift the world, right?
It
If
would.
we all just lift one little bit more, we'd all lift the world.
Good stuff.
Powerful.
Good stuff, Matt.
Yeah.
Speaking of good stuff, there's more of this and that on Matt's website, matttownsend.com. A little birdie told me there's a March sale.
There's a March sale because March comes in like a lion and it goes out like a lamb. Do you remember that? I learned that in kindergarten. And we're going to have a big sale. So if you go to matttownsend.com, any of our online programs, any of our online classes, past date nights, anything that's online and digital, if you enter March 20, you get 20% off. And it's just for you cool people from Studio
Big.
5.
You can learn from Matt in the comfort of your PJs,
Yeah.
you and your
You
screen.
don't even have to wear anything.
Stop!
Just let you know, I'm not even going to control what you wear.
I set myself up for that. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you,
March
Brick.
20% off at matttownsend.com.